And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, with America 250 around the corner, we will take a deep dive into a very disturbing shift among Democrats who are no longer proud of this country. Spoiler alert. This is not just about hating Donald Trump. An increasing number of Democrats, they loathe our entire system, our American way of life. And meanwhile, across the Atlantic, thousands now are dying of heat exhaustion. Why? Because they don't have air conditioning. And coming up, much more on the far-left governments of Europe blocking AC because of climate alarmism. Now, back here at home, this is what the new wave of democratic socialists want here, but on steroids and human growth hormone. They don't want you to own anything, despite, of course, calling themselves democratic socialists. In reality, these are actual communists that will ultimately, if they get power, destroy the country. One woman who just unseated a longtime serving member of Congress in New York's primary has called for the government to seize the means of production, private property, people's homes. She has called for police to be abolished, also wants to abolish America's prisons, America's borders. She doesn't want anybody deported, not even criminal illegal aliens convicted of rape and murder. And a day after the October 7th massacre in Israel, well, she attended a pro-Hamas rally in Times Square in New York, and she once bragged about using the American flag to wipe her hands and was a key member of a group dedicated to, quote, eradicating America. Now, she also previously referred to white women as ugly colonizers during an online tirade about interracial dating. And now Democrats are ready to send this despicable communist to the halls of Congress. These are the people winning Democratic primaries one after another. And this is but one example of the latest of many examples. In race after race, the Democratic Party now is picking the most radical, the most insane, anti-American candidates imaginable. And what's worse, we're now watching the entire Democratic Party get completely bullied into submission by that wing of the party. Nobody dares speak out against them. For example, where's Chuck Schumer? Where's Hakeem Jeffries? This woman celebrated the massacre of Jewish people one day after, you know, the October 7th terror attack. Over in the House, you have Hakeem Jeffries. He put out, well, a nice little tweet congratulating his new comrades, the same new comrades that are dedicated to throwing him out of office. So is there anyone other than maybe John Fetterman and the Democratic Party with an ounce of moral clarity, an ounce of moral courage? Well, certainly not Cory Booker. Take a look.
A lot of people right now are trying to paint the Democratic Party and insinuate division and differences before us. I'm one of these people that believes very clearly, if everybody in your coalition agrees with you on everything, then your coalition isn't big enough. You see, we as Democrats think diversity is a strength, not a weakness.
Yeah, let's have diversity. Let's have the guy with the Nazi tattoo. Now, top Democrat Chris Murphy of Connecticut is also welcoming his new socialist overlords into the Democratic Party. He's doing it with open arms. Take a look.
I want us to be a big tent party. I mean, I've been saying this for years. I think that it's actually a sign of a party that is alive and growing when there's a contest of ideas inside the party. So I'm not a democratic socialist, but I do believe that the Democratic Party has been historically way too timid in taking on corporate power. But I think we have to understand that people do not believe that this version of capitalism has worked. And frankly, it hasn't worked.
Now, here's a challenge for anybody that's watching. Try to find one prominent elected Democrat willing to stand up to the radical, American-hating communists that are now eating their own party alive right before our very eyes. It's almost impossible. Now, tonight, the actual leader of the Democratic Party is, of course, New York socialist communist mayor Zoran Marxist Kami Mamdani. Take a look.
In New York, there were 3 candidates for this. These are the primaries. They are going to win the election, so there are going to be 3 Democrats in Congress. These are Mamdani's people. These are Democratic socialists, I think very different than the Democratic Party. What happened is, you know, for years we've been asking young people to vote. Well, now young people are voting, and they're voting to abolish the police, abolish prisons, unlimited immigration, so no cops, no prisons, no borders, proving for sure that eating Tide Pods does cause brain damage. One candidate, she will be a congressperson from New York's 13th district, who the New York Times asked her if someone murders someone randomly, should they go to jail? Couldn't get her to say yes for that. She says no more police ever, at all, ever. She says our veterans are war criminals. She said Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden is a rapist. So there is a woke mind virus, and I think we found patient zero.
All right, radical socialism, statism is now spreading all across the country, all thanks to the feckless leadership and radical base of the Democratic Party. But the epicenter of this new socialist revolution, it starts in New York City, where the... All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.